Broadcast is live. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nicole Jordan, aka Pavani J. I'm the CEO and founder of Exquisite Conversation and Exquisite PR firm. I'm sorry, guys, I'm the host of Exquisite Conversation and the CEO and founder of Exquisite PR firm. Y'all, we got somebody. The words kind of slipped up because we got a heavy hitter in the building tonight, you guys. We got Brown Hornet from Staten Island. He's a 25-year vet in the game, and I am very, very, very going to be in your presence, sir. I thank you for coming on Exquisite Conversation and blessing the show. That means the world to me. You are the beginning of many, and I can't wait to look back in years and watch the show again and just be like, wow, I have Pop on there. So you guys know how we do it here. Everything is exquisite. Pop will let you introduce yourself, and we got a co-host here. You guys know who he is. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Peace, King Jacob, man. Glad to be here, and we're gonna get into this music business, the heavy artillery of how to make it in the music business and what it takes to be around as long as Pop has been around. 25 years is a long time to do anything. But thanks for tuning in. I'm King Jacob and Pop. So we'll just go ahead and let you introduce yourself, man, and just tell people who you are.
What's going on, man? This is Pop Da Brown Hornet out of Stapleton, Staten Island, in 10304. Bumbo fire! So yeah, man, let's get into the questions. I'm here. Let's answer. 25 years in the game. Definitely, just like life itself is a roller coaster, ups and downs. Everybody's not really built for it because, if you're in for it, like you said, just for the money or whatever the case may be, it's not for everybody's not going to make it. If you're in for the love of the game and things of that nature, such as myself, do it for the love. And if the money's meant to come, it'll come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pop, tell me how were you when you started rapping?
Well, I started rapping like way back in the days when hip hop just began, like anybody else. When you heard it on the radio, at least when I heard it on the radio in the '80s as a little dude. When it comes to my parents, my mother, I was raised as an only child from my mom's. From my pops, I have other siblings, and from my mom's, I was the only child. So. And she was strict to make sure that I went to school and things of that nature. So from vocabulary words, thesaurus, dictionary, and things of that nature back in the days, I was very high on. And like I said, once again, being the only child, I think that the pen and the pad became my best friend. And once I was able to put together, my first couple of rhymes at maybe 10, 11, 12 years old, I grabbed an interest in it. I noticed that when I did rhyme amongst the peers and, I was able to articulate words and things of that nature, that was my way in, or that was my way of standing out from the rest that weren't really crafting their style at such an early age. So when I did it and I started, when I wrote one of my first couple of rhymes and my mother was kind of intrigued, she was just like, oh, she didn't think I could even put words together like that. And once I think I sparked her interest, I felt like I was onto something.
Okay. And so 25 years in the music industry. You're a lyricist. Like you win battles. You like knock them down. Like the stuff that I've read, the stuff that I've seen. When did you realize that you were like there was nobody like you? You were running things.
Hmm. Yeah, kind of like at an early age. When you, on the Staten Island, a lot of the artists that were up and coming in the mid '80s to the early '90s, we all kind of like uh together in saying that coming from out of Staten Island was kind of like the last borough to really break through when it came to hip hop. Of course, we had our legends and our big brothers, the Force MCs / the Force MDs, but we already know they made baby making music. You know what I mean? So when a lot of us MCs, when we were crafting our style, we had to look to the UMTV raps, the Ralph McDaniels, and things of that nature, or listen to the latest mixtape that might have dropped in the street that was circulating. And we heard various different styles from the golden era, be it the Big Daddy Kanes, the KRSs, the Slick Ricks, the Coogee raps, and so forth and so on, just like everybody else. But we really didn't have a voice. But on Staten Island, when R&S was putting those, you know, R&S, who did a lot of production, Shaheem, UMCs, King Just, GP Wu, myself, just to name a few. I was when I was first really starting out, I was starting out as well, and we made a lot of songs on 4-track to 8-track that went straight to the street, that went to the Canyons. So I had more street hits than maybe anybody on Staten Island. This predates anybody really getting on wax. Nobody, I mean, I'm not going to say nobody. There were a few other producers around Staten Island that were, you know, making music with their comrades, but I think R&S was a step in a level above those individuals. So me having his house as a playground as far as making songs and being creative, I had numerous hits that were in the streets banging throughout neighborhoods before people was on wax in the early 90s.
That's what's up. That's amazing to me. That's amazing to me. I don't even know what to say. Y'all tuning in to Pop Da Brown Hornet. He has so many aliases. Y'all flood this box up, ask him questions, ask him some real questions. We got a professional in the building. Come on here playing. Ask him some real questions if you want some real answers. He has a source. King Jacob, tune him in.
So, Pop man, listen, I've been listening to that hip hop for a long time and how it go back. You know, I come from a Christian home, so I used to have to sneak and get my homeboy the dub takes from the radio, and I had the cassette player with the headphones, and I used to listen to him on the school bus, and so I got familiar with Rakim, which is still one of my favorites to the day. And then on came Big Daddy Kane and Karis One and Just Ice and 3 Times Dope and Leaders of the New School. And then, you know, I come to find out about this clan called the Wu-Tang Clan. And, you know, from the clan, I came to find out about, you know, the little crumb snatcher that they call Shaheem. You know, like we was like, who is this little dude? But he ill. And then come to find out about Pop Da Brown Hornet, you know, when I heard it's an older song, man, but it was on a Tony Touch mixtape. And so I come to find out about this new barrel that's coming, Staten Island, and then, you know, when it came with them 36 chambers, it just like Staten Island just went so rapid all over the nation, all over the globe. It hit the down south market like nobody's business. You know, everybody had their New York Hacks rock to the right with the Timbos on, with their baggy jeans and the North Face jackets in the wintertime. And so that's all from that Staten Island era that hit down south. So for you, what would you explain to the public eye, the true essence of hip hop? What is that for you?
Well, the true essence of hip hop to me, I mean, is basically what it is a voice. Hip hop has really always been like, I gather, the voice that came from the street, the voices that really couldn't be heard. That's where hip hop really came from. So it still really is like an underground, it's an underground hip hop. I mean, I've one of my albums, I called myself the Underground Emperor. But when I say by the underground, is that you have commercial hip hop that'll be played all day, every day, 5 times, 6 times an hour, heavy rotation. And that's not necessarily what really the dictates hip hop, or even what the people want to hear. It's a programming. They have a program director. So the things that they want to be heard on and how they want to direct the masses is going to be programmed. But the real hip hop, that hip hop that I call hip hop doesn't really come on the radio. The hip hop that I indulge in, because it's the voices that aren't spoken for. That's what kind of hip hop represents to me. And coming from out of Staten Island, Pop Da Brown Hornet, I'm coming from out of Stapleton, Staten Island. And even though we do have, the iconic Wu-Tang, they're 25 years removed from the streets of Shaolin. They're successful. So they haven't really been out here like that. They've been gifted enough to have a cult following to where their music still transcends to this day. But if you deal with the present day of Staten Island, it's a different temperature.
Okay. So
and it comes from, and the different temperature in hip hop, it comes from the streets. I'm here in 2022. I have an album out, Foreman Mandela. It brings you a little bit more closer to a Staten Island feel to this present day. Wu-Tang and the greatness that they have accomplished. They were. Some of it was gimmicky with the Wu-Tang and the karate. Then some was like Wu Gambino-ish, where they came as thugs and so forth and so on. But we at 2022, the third eye is wide open. We can no longer play around with this craft that we have. We have to teach the deaf, dumb, and the blind. The masses have to be taught. We've been playing around way too long, and we're not really competing with the other ethnic groups out there. And I think that hip hop, and it always has been, like I said, is a voice that comes from the underground. It's a voice of the people that, deprived, no one's listening to, that still goes on to this day. So if you want to hear from the people, you have to be a little, and I'm the people's champ, Pop Da Brown Hornet, like you said, 25 years in it. If you don't, I mean, hypothetically, when it comes to Staten Island history, when you remove the layers, my name has to pop up. Cream rises to the top. So that's why you still hear Pop Da Brown Hornet, only because, like I said, I'm active, and also I have a catalog that dates back to when they were prevalent. But the objective of the game is to keep going. I was told that life is a marathon, so just run your race. So I'm still running my race, and as long as I'm grabbing a listening ear, and as long as I'm keeping it to traditional classical hip hop, I'm not in it for, like I said, unfortunately, I'm not in it for the fad. I'm not trying to make a quick buck out of it and do some drill music or do what's popping now just for the time being. I'm gonna stay true to the essence of hip hop. To make the four founders proud. And also, just to give the listening ear in this present day, I believe that they do need substance, and I do believe that people do want substance. It's just that the fact, like you said, when the mainstream radio and program directors, they're told to dumb us down so they can keep the chaos in the streets, and they can keep us drugged up and popping this and sipping this, and they want that to reign in our neighborhoods.
Right. So you have a song called I believe it's called "Straighten It."
I have a song called "Straighten It Out" that I features my biological son Don Dollars. It's called Straighten It Out. So yeah, we Phantom of the Beat, we did that beat, and yeah, I definitely straightened it out, and it's just tough. It touches on the temperatures that are prevalent today, or relevant today. You know, with the overdoses, with the opioids, the fentanyl. I mean, you know, we have, these drugs are messing up minds, grown men, little children. They doing hideous crimes, you know, when they snatching purses off of old ladies' shoulders and things of that nature. You know, I got to explain to my moms, like, sometimes you have to be on point, because some of these people are on drugs, and then they're acting irrational. This has to be spoken upon. You know, we have a lot of rappers that glorify it, like that's the in thing to do. But once you become an addict and you're just lingering around and your mind is burnt out, and now you become a public enemy, because now you're a predator on the young and the old. You know, and you'll do anything to maintain that high. You know, so what goes from a party drug, now you're addicted, and now you're an addict. Now your friends ain't around you no more. They're not here to help feed your vice. So, and then you turn to drugs. We got to straighten that out. We got to straighten out the radio. The radio, y'all DJs are responsible for playing this. Your program says, yo, play this, that says kill, 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 shoot, shoot, shoot. I mean, you as a DJ say you shouldn't be, we got to clean some of this up. If you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. And that's period. That goes for you DJs too. That doesn't make you exempt. I'm just playing what's hot in the street, in the clubs. And so, yeah, but until your cousin's daughter, son or becomes a victim, you know, and I do believe that the music plays a part. But of course, music soothes the savage beast. You know, you could play country music. You could play gospel music. I don't see gospel fesses being shot up and torn up by young youth, and I don't see hoochie mamas going to twerking at the gospel awards and things of that nature, shooting it up. Nobody's running for their lives. That's us. And that's the music that use DJs are promoting, that our kids are blasting and getting stuck on drugs and doing hideous crimes. Come on, let's be honest.
Right. And I particularly like the song because you touched on a lot of things. You touched on the street mentality of the youth, and you touch on how these cats pull a gun out so fast and don't really know what they're getting themselves into. And you touched on the intellectual mind and why the mind is not flourishing with the youngsters. So you spoke a lot of Jews, and it really reminded me of when KRS-One tried to tell us this 20 years ago. You know, it really reminded me of, you know, when you sit and talk to an old dude on the stoop. So I visit New York a lot, and so I visited Brooklyn, Staten Island, you know, Queensbridge, you know, Manhattan. I got family all over there, so you know, I was familiar with the Crown Heights area. My God, they owned a brownstone out there.
Okay.
And so it was a couple of old heads that used to just sit us on the stoop and just talk to us for hours. And I feel like nowadays, a lot of kids don't get those jewels from the OGs or the old heads. And so I feel like that's what's missing while they're traveling through this thing called life. And so even with how you speak on Wax, you speak about this all the time. And so how has that impacted the community when you're trying to bring the youth together to teach them something?
Yeah, I mean, you know, they're going to be stubborn. They barely want to listen to their parents. So what's really going to make them want to listen to me? Especially, you know, where I'm from. What I've noticed is that my music is very impactful to people abroad, people from other places. they really do appreciate my work. You know, when I talk on social media, you know, let's not get it misconstrued. I do have a lot of local friends, support, and people that, you know, tell me, you know, I'm doing a fantastic job, or you stand out from the rest because you do take the time to at least be conscious in your lyrics. But abroad, like Brazil and Germany and certain, I mean, it's a numerous of places. The Netherlands, you know, they'll be in my inbox, and they'll just tell me, yo, back in the days, that black on black crime, man, that you know, I live by that. That was very deep, sincere, you know, and other numerous rhymes. So, you know, definitely abroad and other places, they definitely help energize me to be more, you know, just creative and come out with more music, because I think that they tune in and they appreciate the classical, traditional hip hop, you know, with message and substance.
Right. And so, what would you tell the youngster that's trying to get into the hip hop business about the business part of it? You know, what would you tell them from you being a 25-year vet, from your experiences, and you know what they're going to face and the obstacles that they have to overcome, as long as along with the challenges that they're going to meet head on when you're learning the business of the music industry?
Yeah, it's very complex. I mean, it's very complex. You know, just when you feel like you might know what you're doing, or you know in your direction, you could deal with people in the industry that's going to try to throw you off your path, or try to lead you in this direction, or this works for me and this, then, the third. So I would really try, you know, there's a stubbornness that you have to have. I would say bend, but don't break. You know, if you feel like you have to come out of who you are to become successful, I would tell you just stay who you are. Coming out of character, coming out of your shell, and chasing something that's not obtainable. You know, TLC, I think they made a song called "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. So, you know, what they really meant is, like, you know, I mean, life isn't about staying in your lane. It's always about switching lanes, but don't go overboard. You know, too much of anything is not good for you. So even to want to be famous and want to be successful, it's not worth, they use the term so loosely, but to sell your soul, or to give up your publishing and this, that, and the third, stick to your guns. I would tell your young ones, stick to your guns. If you're writing out there, write it. If you can put it out independently, be patient, take your time, and grab a fan base, become a cult following. You know, a lot of people, y'all signed to these y'all signed to these other individuals, and they promise you everything under the sun. And, you know, and that's just to obtain your publishing and your masters and things of that nature. So to you young guys, if you could be patient and get your catalog up, and, you know, get with a nice managerial team and a promotional team that could get you your own shows, start off like that. Give yourself the leverage, you know. Put the ball in your court. Don't allow them to have the ball in theirs. I mean, we living in a time right now where we living in content. We could reach out. I mean, back in the days when I was on MCA and things of that nature, doing shows like this with individuals with their own show, that was obsolete. That wasn't even part of the programming. You know, you would have to wait, have a sit down with a magazine, and wait 3 weeks to 4 weeks for that magazine to come out in order to see what you even spoke about, or even to promote your single. We're not, you know, right now we're dealing with the, you know, podcast shows, and we're dealing with content that's right here and right now. So,
right.
Yeah.
I would just, you know, just in summary, young world, the world is yours. You know, we were always taught to go get a job and go do this and work for this and the third. At the same time, we are bosses, we are kings, we are queens, we are entrepreneurs, we are everything that they are. So we have to get accustomed to doing so. You know, and if this is a platform or if music is your stage or selling clothes or whatever it is, try to hold on to independency as long as possible, or just keep it that way if possible. You know, be content with, be content with the money that you generated on your own. It might not be the millions of dollars in short term, but it'll be the $1 million in long term. Slow money better than no money. If somebody's going to tell me I could get $10 million in 5 years, I just have to be patient, or I could sell my ass and get, and get 10 million up front. That's not guaranteed. I'd rather take the slow route.
Yeah.
Yes, it's exquisite conversation. Pop, don't hold back. Say what you want to say. We late night conversation. Let it flow. If we like it all. We don't do no cuts. You don't want us to. I love
I
to give
got
it
you.
to them in the raw because, yeah, give it to them in the raw because they have to understand that we are kings and queens. Did you guys hear what he said? We are kings and queens. We have the same thing that they have. You got to utilize your time and be smart. All money ain't good money. Definitely fast money. And just I can't really even ask you any questions. You've been doing this so long. You answered all my questions already because you've covered the process. So,
Yeah.
like, you just you do it. You do this. I can tell you do this. I know you do this because it's just you answering all. Give it you make an interviewer hard. Make a job hard for an interviewer.
I got you.
Right.
Make it
But
hard.
listen though, man, you from that New York era, so and you from
Yeah.
the era where the DJs was on the street corners, with the two mics, and you had about 100 people out there, and cats would literally battle each other head up. So let's talk about their era, man, and how people sharpen their skills in their era.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely from that era to where um it was just a different type of energy. I mean, I could really I remember writing rhymes just like every day, because you never knew, or if you wanted something new to say, or if it was just, I'm going to high school, to junior high school, and then hitting to the streets. There was so many different artists that wanted to get on. So when it came to Weekend, or when it came to Park Villa, or when it came to the Club Caves, or it came to Wave Street, and these or like you said, just the park with the DJ and the microphone. To be an MC and to earn your stripes out there in front of your peers, that was priceless. To be able to represent your neighborhood, and to have the support of the elders and your age bracket, and there's no energy to really explain that.
Mhm.
Coming from when you had to earn your stripes, compared to now when nobody has to earn anything. You can make a hit in your basement, spit it out there into the universe, and if it catches fire, it catches fire, it goes viral. You could be a relatively unknown. But back then, you definitely had to get into the square. And it wasn't really like the battle rap that I see now, and the disrespect and all of that, and this, that, and the third. It wasn't really like that. When you wrote your rhymes, and you brought them outside, and and you put them up against the next individual, that was the ultimate, because like I said, you had a Slick Rick, or you had storytellers, you had battle rappers, you had all kinds of different MCs. But when we was in that circle, you brought it there. And it might be a party rhyme that won it that day. It wasn't about a battle rap or a disrespect song. It might have been a message song that it might have won the next day. You know what I mean? The diversity that you had to have, and the originality that you had to have when I was coming up, is obsolete right now. The copycat game is very prevalent right now. If I make a song, somebody tomorrow is making a song that sounds just like that, jacking the beat, making it sound like whole throwing the little special effects on their voice and everything. I mean, I can't decipher these artists who's who from little this to little that to the. I just don't know. And I'm being honest with you. I don't know. You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
I'm lost in the sauce when they say this is little this or boom boom. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's certain ones that's catchy, that beat stands out, that one boom boom boom. But in a nutshell, like it's don't if my little niece like who that Uncle Pop, I'm lost because they all sound the same. They all look the same to me. I mean, it's just like like bowling ball pins. They just line up and they could just and like I said, back in the days when we was doing that, nobody could come to the next day sounding like me the next day. That would be absurd for you to try to stay. You'll be like, yo, you sound like you might get, oh my goodness. But now it's accepted. So it's definitely a change in the game. Right now, it's all about getting paid. And if you got a sound to get paid, somebody's going to duplicate your sound. When you have an original sound that's working from the underground, working its way up, and it's going to be raw and different, it may have some time to adjust to because, like I said, these DJs and everybody seem like they're all in cahoots just to play whatever it is for the younger generation, to be, a little bit more mature.
A whole bunch of followers and no leaders, and I don't feel like it's a lot of originality. You would never hear Big Daddy Kane sound like LL. You would never hear a Rakim sound like a KRS One. So it's no originality. And then I was watching a documentary on AZ, and they asked him why he left mainstream media. And he told them, he says it's no love for the hip hop culture in mainstream media. And he said that, I would rather stay underground and do what I do underground, and I can still eat underground, but I can still stay true to myself. And so, and I respect that. And AZ, one of the coldest rappers that ever hit a microphone, in my opinion. So I rock with that. So tell me about this work that you have going on with your bloodline, your son. Like, there had to be some amazing chemistry, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you had to sit back and look like, man, my bloodline dope. Like, for real. And so how was that chemistry when you and your son got together and make that magic happen?
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. I just wanted to, guide him into making a song. A lot of these youngsters, they rhyme with their peers, and sometimes there's a whole bunch of rhetoric, So I just wanted to sit them down and, straighten it out. Was more of a conceptual song. I wanted them to know what it was to make a hip hop song with meaning and definition and upliftment. Because like I said, these younger guys, they rhyme about a whole bunch of other stuff that I really don't condone. And so, him coming up with his peers, there's a lot of raps that he didn't really want me to hear because, I don't co-sign certain stuff. So, like I said, he's a very great talent, like a lot of these other kids, but they don't have the direction to really make an album with substance. They can make a whole bunch of dumbed down stuff. So, taking the time to make a song with him and having him step out his norm that he usually does, I thought was fantastic.
Okay, cool. So as far as your son, does he have a album out, an EP out, a mixtape out? Or?
Well, he's actually working with a few of his comrades right now. I distribute my music on Rob Swartz, Homage distribution, and he's with Sony Orchard, and so they gave me Bonafide Enterprises. So hopefully before this year's out, I'm gonna get some material from my son. We'll have his independent stuff coming up, and plus he's involved with a few of his other comrades as well. But yeah, definitely you're gonna hear from him in the future. Like I said, when you come in on the Bonafide, when you're dealing with me and I'm critiquing your music, I want him to be more lyrical, more substance, I don't want him to, whatever he does on his own is on his own. But I'm not catering to the kill music at all.
Okay. So, are you accepting submissions from artists for your label?
Oh yeah. If you listen, you can get on my Instagram. I'm Pop Da Brown Hornet _10304. That's Pop Da Brown Hornet _10304. Like I said, I have digital distribution under Bonafide Enterprises. If you're an artist with substance that has good music and content that's not kill, hit me up in my DM. Let's see if we could do something. That male or female, get in contact with me. Pop Da Brown Hornet _10304 on Instagram. That's probably the best way to get in contact with me. Chop it up with me.
Okay. So you have also been overseas, correct?
I've been overseas, yes.
Okay. So how was that experience for you as a global recording artist? Because once you go overseas, you're global. So how was that experience for you to become globally known and to go over there to be able to touch the masses overseas?
Now, it's a great experience that I definitely have to engage in more. It's been a little minute, but it's like no other. When you hear other people, like I said, from other walks of life, might not even know too much English, that recite your lyrics to tell you how much it meant to them or how it changed their life. When I made Black on Black Crime, I was, as much as I knew it was a universal song with the blood diamonds over there, blacks attacking each other in Africa, and that before social media, Americans, they used to say, were kind of like so self-centered and not conscious about their surroundings and what was going on. So I think that Black on Black Crime was really able to touch corners of the planet that I wasn't even thinking about. But when I touched down and I touched them, and they was able to tell me that song meant so much to them, I was really thrown back, because I underestimated the power that that my message was having. You might not see so much turnaround, or you might not see people too impressed with you that are close to you, but from afar, I found a different respect for music, even coming from out of me. I said, you know what, I'm gonna be more. I'm gonna just hone in more. When I make my music, I'm not gonna be afraid to reach out, because I know that there's people listening. So, and I know that they want substance. I know they want good music. So I don't have to go off course to try to please anybody, because, like I said, once you go abroad and your love for who you are, when the Nina Simone's left out of the States and when she went out there to Europe and they just embraced her like a queen and things of that nature, it just made me open my eyes and say, the artistry is so universal, this hip hop thing, and you never know who you're gonna touch along the way.
Right. And so, with that being said, and this is where Miss Jordan is going to step in. As far as you being an artist and you being a 25-year vet, would you really give the artist the synopsis on how important marketing, branding, and public relations is to an artist growing their brand and getting to the next level?
All of those things are extreme. That's why there's big conglomerates that offer you a 360 deal to tell you, listen, I'll cover all of those things for you for a cost, for a fee. To have this machine running for you in sync, that's a timely thing, and that's what really costs artists. And that's why some artists aren't willing to put in the footwork to make all of those intricate pieces work together for the machine to make you successful. So they're willing to give up publishing, or they're willing to give, they sign that 360 deal to say, you know what, let's cut all these corners because I want to start them right here, right now. So to do those things that you said to become successful is going to be time consuming. But it's the difference between eating a hot pocket that you threw in the microwave for 2 minutes, or eating that Sunday dinner that you know is going to take 3-4 hours, and it's going to be nourishing. So that's up for an artist to really decipher on what they want. I mean, something long term. Of course, I'm going to tell you to sit back and slow grind and get your promotions and your publicists and all of these things and management, all of those things trying to work on the same accord to make you successful. It's not an easy task, though. Not at all.
Nicole, would you like to chime in?
Sure, absolutely. And I definitely, I'm knowing that the PR world is definitely not easy. And dealing with independent artists, I love it. I love what I do. Um, and when you are able and you are blessed to be able to touch someone of your stature, um, and I would like to sit next to your with your PR and just watch how she maneuvers for a day. You know what I mean? Because when you're dealing with independent artists and they come in and they're 4 years in the game, opposed to dealing with someone who's 25 years in the game, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game, just for the simple fact that when you're making that train go for that new person, opposed to a person who has the the networking and the statistics and the schematics that you have. um I just would like to see how she navigates. I mean, just me being a PR, I just would be amazed at, you know what I mean, that how many tasks she's doing at one time and where she's going and how she's getting things going, because I know what I have to do. So I have one question to you. What would you, and just in 3 words, what would you describe yourself? Because you talk a lot different, and a lot different than the average rapper. You
Mm.
have a lot of kingdom behind you, and I hear you talk and speak with authority. So, with 3 words, how would you describe yourself?
Um, I would just say, to stand out alone. Stand out alone in 3 words. Uh, some people, and then sum that up, is some people fight all their life to try to get in with the in crowd to fit in. Stand out on your own. Stand out alone. Stand out alone on your own and learn who you are. Some people don't even know who they are because they surround themselves. They have shoulders to lean on. Um, People always stay in relationships, so they never, they leave one relationship to the next, and they never find out who they are on their own. When they don't know how
Mm,
to even act if their back is against the wall. They won't know how to act because they've never had to deal with it. They've always had somebody to lean on, somebody to depend on, somebody to pick them up. You know,
mhm.
stand out alone. I've had to on this comeback, like I said, the name of my comeback album was Foreman Mandela. Like I said, I was on a deep hiatus. Nobody was calling my phone. Nobody said, "Yo, Pop Da Brown Hornet, come do a feature. Yo, we doing this, we doing that. Come open up for us, do this and the third." I was by myself. I was stranded.
Wow.
My comeback is surreal because I already know I was counted out. So anything that I get after this is extra. I know this is
Wow.
all me right here. I know I stood out on my own, and I didn't try to fit in with nobody. And when I didn't try to fit in with the in crowd, they made sure that they casted me out. So I come to
Wow.
you. Yeah, I'm not associated with individuals, and you know, nobody asks me to, yo, Pop the round horn and come open up or do this, that, and the third. They act like I'm irrelevant or I'm not in existence or my 25 years didn't count. So, like I said, learn how it is to stand out on your own. And when the shots is coming at you, how to maneuver. It's only going to make you a stronger individual.
And with you standing out on your own, tell us what made you, when you took that hiatus. You said, and it's funny that you said that because today I was reading something and it said with transformation comes isolation. So with transformation comes isolation. And I thought about that for a little while today because that's deep.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, and yeah,
we all go through with
and with,
transformation comes isolation.
yeah, because in isolation, you're able to shed so much weight. You get rid of all the dead weight in isolation because all the support or all this, that, and the third that might have thought you've had, it gets reevaluated. It's like, nah, bro, you out here by yourself. You might have put your life on the line for this, that, and the third, or him or her, But isolation will help you get rid of so many things, all that dead weight. And once you get rid of that dead weight, then you will rise. And then you will rise because it's not your responsibility. Like, when I was young and coming up, I felt like it was my responsibility. I'm from Stapleton. I had to throw the whole projects on my back. I thought literally like I had to carry all of these people to the promised land, And when you're in isolation, it comes to you in revelation. It comes to you clear as day. When that smoke clears and you on your knees praying to the Almighty, there's no one around you but you. And you telling them, show me the light. Give me a sign. You give me a sign and I'll give you something in return. And when I was by myself and I was alone and I said, you know what? My mom's, she was fighting. She had a kidney transplant, but before she had it, I used to take her, to get her treatment. They got to suck, they suck the liquid from out of you and things of that nature, So she was just showing me how strong she was, or whatever the case may be. There was times that I didn't think she would make it through that because she had to get on the list for a kidney and so forth and so on. But during that time, she said, yo, don't live with any regrets, man. Whatever you feel that you should want to do right here, right now, in this present time, you go for it. Because you only get one of these things called life, only one. So when I was on that deep hiatus and I was always contemplating and this, that, and the third, I didn't have social media. I wasn't on Facebook, Instagram. None of those things interest me. I'm actually a 731 union worker up in New York, 731, local 731, that's labor's union. So shout out to all my union workers, laborers, around the states, around the globe for that matter. But so, yeah, I was just living a regular life, paying, struggling, 731, grinding out there. But when she said that to me, it just rained. It just, it weighed heavy on my head. And I said to myself, you know what? Let me jump it back into the arena of hip hop. And I just felt like the music and stuff that I was hearing wasn't up to par, and that a lyricist of my capability and my stature, should make a resurgence.
Well, you say it wasn't up to par, and I'm gonna just go out and say, man, a lot of music out here is complete, total garbage. It hurts my ears. It gives me an earache. I feel like my ears is filled with so much wax that, I can't even spell Q-tip. Like, it's complete garbage. So I'm wondering, like, a lot of people have great marketing, and I can put it like that. But great marketing don't move me, man. What's going through my ears is what moved me. And so if there's no substance and if you don't have a message where you're holding the people, that's the distraction if you're not holding them accountable. So what type of messages are you really giving off? And so music is more about the message to me. You know, it's a lot of people that got great marketing dollars, but that don't mean you hot because you great marketing dollars. And it's some of the hottest artists I've heard in the world who don't have a big budget and big marketing dollars, but they just need to be given that shot. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah. The marketing dollars do matter, but if we tap inside how A&Rs used to do it and go from city to city to find this talent, these hidden gems, I think, you know, that we can really, really represent the culture again like it once was represented. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. You know, like I said, you DJs, the podcast, you get to listen to the artists, you get to hear from you know, from the fans, from the listening ear. What I would definitely love to see is somehow, some way, these guys network and y'all do so many different interviews with so many up and coming artists. It would just be a wonderful thing to be able to hear these artists on some type of platform on them. You know, like I said, these dudes we don't come on the radio. You might come on the mixtape, you might do this, then the third. From how I take it from you, you're not even hearing the music you really like on the radio. So whether you got to add it to your playlist and things of that nature, but somehow, some way, there has to be these radios. There has to be some kind of radio station that really plays what the people want. Because, like I said, when I do these interviews, I always hear from the host or the hostess is like, "Yeah, I want to hear real hip hop. I want to hear." So you know, I hear it. Or I like that traditional classical hip hop. I like that boom bap. But you know, like I said, there's no rallying call for these individuals to play it on the radio. So it definitely would be nice to have a coalition. You know, I remember I went to California. It's like they got a hip hop coalition, and you know, they kind of weed out certain music or certain stations. You know, they can play that raw hip hop. You know, I think that should be in every state where, you know, they're forced to play raw hip hop on one of these stations to give us, you know, the rawness and not what's programmed or what's trending for the time being.
Word. I can dig
They
it.
should. Yeah, I think that, you know, even in school and music classes, just from me having boys, young men that rap and love to rap. You ask them questions about DJ, like Rakim, Eric B. Rakim, um, Run DMC, and we go way back to, you know, all these artists, and I just think that, like, in the schools, in the music department, offer a hip hop class so these kids can know what real hip hop sounds like, because we're African American. Um, Other nationalities like hip hop too, and just to hear hip hop and learn what hip hop really is about, how it started, the vibe, and what we were doing back then. Um, you know, and what it took to just make a track, or make a CDRW, or make a tape, or, you know, the style. Because I noticed that the style was coming back too, with the big chains and all the chains that everybody's wearing, and so on and so forth. I'm like, you know, if they really would knew what hip hop was, because you can ask some kids, like Dr. Dre, if he didn't have the headphones, I don't think some kids would even know. You know, they'll be asking questions like, "Who's Dr. Dre?" or "Who's this
Well,
person?" You know.
now you make a good point, because the point of it is this: in every other genre of music, they make sure that they put their legends on you know, on a pedestal. They make sure that
Hmm.
they you know, they honor them, their music and
Hmm.
everything. With hip hop, it's on with the next, and they don't want us to glorify or put the Big Daddy Kanes or the KRS or the Rakims on that pedestal that they rightfully deserve. they rather shoo them away and try to replace them because they don't want our music that have a legacy, a strong legacy. But when you come to rock and roll, you got the Mick Jaggers, you still got Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Springsteen, and you still got
Right.
the other guy who sells out Madison Square Garden. They're not trying to tarnish them, remove them, or downplay who they are whatsoever. They're trying to keep those
Not
dudes
at all.
around. And then you got babies singing their music. I see, the newborns are singing their music because, their concerts and their music is being treasured and glorified, and being
Mm-hmm.
passed on from generation. And like I said, with us, they're quick to try to move on to the new, and that's why these new artists really don't have the respect for the golden era of what came before them, because so many artists are coming around getting their own cult following and having millions of dollars. They're having access to hundreds of thousands of dollars at a young age, to where the old schoolers, they don't have the access to that. They're still promoting the history of it, and they don't have any dollars. So where you have
Mm-hmm.
some of these drill rappers, I mean, I don't hear about, I don't know who they are until unfortunately they get shot, or unfortunately they get murdered, and then you find out they got a big cult following. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where was this? How was that even obtainable? You know, so there's a market out
Right.
there, so there has to be a market created for the traditional message hip hop, just like there's a market and a lane created for some of that dumbed down hip hop. It we got to create it. I know that hip hop is $1 billion industry, so it's just
Mm-hmm.
about someone really caring and putting together festivals and showcases where you got real hip hop, weed out through whoever,
Absolutely.
whatever, and then if you start with one to two to three to four, you can build up to 20. Have 20 strong artists that you don't hear on the radio, the Brown Hornets of the world, and let's go. Let's get our own money. Let's set our own wave, because like I said, a lot of these other up and coming artists, drill music, kill music, they got cult followers. I never heard of them. Their songs aren't on the radio, but somehow, some way, they got 2 or 3, 4, and 50 million views on YouTube. So
SoundCloud, bro. Like before I even knew who like I'm gonna say Kodak Black, King Von. I'm gonna say Lil Durk. These boys already, before a label even tried to touch them, they already had something like 3, 4 million plays on SoundCloud.
right.
You know what I mean? So they had a huge following. Like
Well,
King
like I
Von.
said, with that is a cult following. With that drill music, it was definitely a lifestyle. Those kids will put it out, and it might be that geographic right there will play that song a million times. You know what I mean? And drive the numbers up. But there has to be some kind of togetherness. So there has to be a righteous togetherness and a stand for righteous, like there's a stand for the negative and the toxic. And your use guys are positive. There's individuals that say, what, we gotta band together and just worry about our music, our culture, and worry about the legacy that hip hop has. If we just give it and let these kids direct it and take control of it, it's going to be taken away, because they're not respecting the history of it at all, and it shows in their music.
Right, right,
Yes,
right.
like so
I
many
can
other
dig it.
things. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. You guys, we got Pop Brown Hornet here. I mean, I couldn't be more grateful. I'm very grateful that you are here. You guys, we're at the top of the hour. Pop, we've enjoyed you being here. Can you please tell the people where they can find you at, where they can get with you at your label? You guys, he already gave you the Instagram. If you want to give it to him again, um, let them know what's going on. And I definitely want to talk to you again in about another 6 months and see where you are with your label, with some of your artists, and see where y'all at. Because I like to fly around and come out and see what people are doing. Go ahead,
So
give it
yeah,
to them.
it definitely, I definitely keep you posted. But Right now, like I said, Foreman Mandela's the total album that's out. I'm promoting 2 singles at the same time right now, Stapleton Fly and Mike Champ. Those are also streaming. Foreman Mandela, once again, the album is streaming everywhere. You can follow me on Facebook, Pop Da Brown Hornet. You can follow me on TikTok, Pop Da Brown Hornet. You can follow me on Instagram, Pop Da Brown Hornet _10304. If you're an artist up and coming, if you're an underground artist with substance, get at me in my DM on my Instagram. I'd love to hear your music. Let's chop it up. Let's vibe. You guys, I appreciate you guys for having me on your platform. It's definitely been a blessing to be able to chop it up, just talk, industry, keep it real, keep it gutter. I hope somebody comes away, with a message, some kind of substance. I hope they leave. I hope I left someone with some food for thought.
Oh, you did. Most definitely.
Absolutely, you did. Absolutely, you did. You guys, thank you guys so much. We tip our hats to you. I salute you, King, for being here on Exquisite Conversation. Everybody in the background working, Ash Cash, Ashley Marie, everybody in the background, your PR, I appreciate her too. Thank you guys.
Shout out
And we
MJ.
will hopefully we'll see you guys in another 6 months. I definitely want to talk to him, and I definitely want to talk to Pop, and we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Fire!